And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, and this is from the cheap seats. And we haven't been here in a while. Of course, we explained during David's podcast, we had a little bit of a staff shuffle here at the Livingston Parish News. Took us a little while to get resituated, but we're back, and we'll go back to Monday starting next week. We're on Wednesday this week because of my personal schedule, but that's enough. We're going to let this gentleman introduce himself, and we are going to talk about all things sports here in Livingston Parish. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. This is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And Rob is having a little bit of trouble with that really cold weather over the weekend that has now become warm and gross for like a day, and then it's going to get cold again. Just love it.
Saturday was a trip to the walk-in clinic, just so y'all know. And so I don't normally sound like this, so we'll get through it though.
Well, he's got that Barry White sort of overtone, so it's really. This is going to be the smooth jazz edition.
Can we do an album while we're in here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll have a great album cover. It'll be you staring off into the distance with that sign in the background.
Wonderful.
Anyway, let's get back on track here. So, signing day, we missed that because of some things that were going on. You're still trying to get in touch with some kids, but why don't you give us some totals from these schools? Because it was a busy signing day.
It's been amazing. I'm going to go off the top of my head here. Denham Springs, 12 athletes signed. Walker 8, Live Oak 5. At Holden 1. That was Taylor Douglas to Nichols. Doyle had Kylie Lutz to Mississippi. College for women, and then let's see, who was it that Albany had a signing for football, and it's escaping me right now. But it's a bunch of them. So I'm trying to track them down right now. We're still trying to get there. Just bear with me on that, and we'll get to it eventually. This is It's unprecedented. You guys know I like to talk to these signees about how they got to where they did and how they got there. So that's what we're working on right now.
Sure. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting as these kids kind of get in touch with you to hear about, some of their journeys and just a huge total of kids from Livingston Parish going off to play at the next level. So moving on, we're going to wrap up, I guess, the final soccer team that was left, which would have been the Denham boys. Unfortunately, their typical foil in Baton Rouge High came out here and won in overtime.
Yeah, it's and it's one of those deals where you just get in there and once it starts getting closer, it's like Coach Hilliard had said that they opened the playoffs and beat Hammond 8-0. That was their first mercy rule of the season, and they said you're kind of not relying on that type of scoring to happen. 8 different people score, and he said going into that Baton Rouge High matchup that they would have to take care of those opportunities when they had them and take advantage of them. They go up early, and Baton Rouge High comes back. It was an overtime deal of that, and if you go back to last season, they played a couple overtime matches, and that's kind of been the MO. You get in there and those tight matches, and it comes down to just whoever can take advantage of those opportunities, and Baton Rouge High was able to do that.
So going to be interesting to see how Coach Hilliard. This was his first year, right, or second?
Oh, he was actually hired during the pandemic.
So
okay. It's kind of taken hold. They've done some different things. He said in terms of conditioning and what they're doing, subs and things like that this year to kind of make sure they were a little bit more healthy heading into this part of the season. And like I said, it's just one of those things that they kind of didn't work out for them. That. Things were heading in the right direction, early on. I think, they were number one in the power ratings really early, and it's still an excellent job to get to that point. But I know, they kind of take it one at a time and don't get too high, don't get too low. Won a district championship with a tie there with Dutchtown, and it was kind of subdued there after that match because they were like, hey, we still got some things to do. So and that's been the approach since he's been there.
Sure. So, and I remember covering him when he played there many years ago.
Taking it back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so that wraps up those winter sports. Let's talk a little bit of powerlifting. I believe you said is still going on.
Yeah. Just got a text from Coach White. They'll be having the regional girls powerlifting this weekend at Woodlawn, and then the boys will be the following weekend. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty, if you will. There,
The final postseason funnel of the state.
So here we are. And Holden's coming off a couple weeks ago that the girls won at the Joey Shoots Invitational over at Denham a couple weeks ago. So they got a little momentum going.
Well, and good luck to all those ladies this weekend and all the boys next weekend. Speaking of wrapping up winter sports, we have girls basketball playoff pairings. I believe you mentioned 8 of 9 teams.
Correct.
With 4 teams on a bye. So walk us through it.
Correct. You go back through, and I think when we talked around parish tournament time, you were saying you get a look at everybody, and you're just saying, okay, we've got some pretty good basketball teams. Some things kind of played out to form. With the new playoff format, your top 4 seeds are getting byes. So we wound up in Livingston Parish. We wound up with Walker was number 1 seed in Division 1 non-select. They got a bye. I'll go through Division 1 while I'm looking at it. Denham Springs was number 6. They will host Slidell, number 27. That'll be tonight at 6:30 at Hornsby Gym. And Live Oak was the number 26 seed, and they will travel to number 7, Natchitoches Central. That's going to be tomorrow. In Division 2, Albany's your team there. They've wound up number 2. They got a bye as well. And they'll be hosting the winner of Ellender and Assumption, and that'll be Monday. That'll be coming up Monday. Most of these buys, the teams who got buys at that next matchup will be on Monday coming up. So in Division 3, interesting situation here. Springfield wound up number 3 with a bye. French Settlement wound up number 4 with a bye. Those 2 teams played each other last week. Springfield wound up winning that game and the district championship. They went 6-0 this year, are undefeated there in district. I'd seen something on social media. They said that's the first time in about 30 years the Springfield girls have won a district championship. Every time those 2 teams play each other, it's going to be a good one. They wound up, out of the 3 matchups this year, I think Springfield takes 2 of those. So, and then also in Division 3, Doyle gets a 15 seed. They will host Bill Platt. That's at 6 o'clock tomorrow at Doyle. And let's see, we got Holden here too in Division 5. Get the number 14 seed. They'll be at home too. They host Pleasant Hill. So it's been a kind of a rough season for Holden, but here they are back in the playoffs hosting a first round matchup. So it's here we are.
Sure. So good luck to all those ladies with lots of big games coming up.
Yeah,
especially for those on the bye. So, and congratulations to those 8 teams, and of course, boys pairings will probably be coming out next week, I would imagine.
Yes, I believe Monday, if I remember correctly.
They typically run about a week behind.
Yeah, they're getting to the nitty gritty here for them, for the boys this week. So, matter of fact, I was out at Denham Springs and Live Oak last night. So that wound up a 10-point game. Denham wins 58-48. One of those things early on, it's kind of back and forth ties, and then Denham kind of goes on a run, and then gets up by double digits, and then Live Oak goes on a run right before halftime. I think cut it down to 4. Clayton Ray hit a 3-pointer, just kind of he gets right across the midcourt line. It looks like he was going to drive in a little bit, and he just kind of shrugged and threw one up right at the buzzer and goes in. It cuts it to 4. I think Live Oak got it down to 2, and then Denham went on a little run, hit a few threes, and kind of pulled away. But it's still one of those games when those 2 teams play each other. It's going to be a good competitive matchup, and that's exactly what you got.
So, you don't call them Highway 16 rivals.
Highway 16. That's legitimately it. Just go straight straight up and down 16.
And a big win for Denham, as you head towards your playoff. Well, you're in your playoff push at this point, trying to get a better seeding. So, again, as you said, we'll have those next week.
Gotten over 20 wins this year, and they've done it getting there with battling through a lot of injuries and things like that. And, it's a heck of a job. I think every time Coach Cab sends me a book, you're just like, oh, man, it's just like they're just figuring out ways to win right now. So
it's good to have a little utility when you head into the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely.
So and of course, just want to let everybody know we are in cross season right now. We're moving into spring. I know softball and baseball are both scrimmaging at this point.
Softball has actually started.
They have started.
Yeah. They have begun.
Wow.
Live Oak got a win last night over Catholic Point Capee, 8-1. So
okay.
That was I got that one first. So I don't know if we want to talk about wrestling too. Wrestling season wrapped up.
It wrapped up. So, let's wrap it up here.
We'll run through that. But just in talking to both of the coaches at Live Oak, Chris Collier and Chris Gotso at Walker, they both kind of like where their teams are headed after the results here coming out of the state meet. For Walker, it's been Kai Karcher and Gabe Milburn and kind of been the steady guys for them. And Kai places fifth at 120 pounds. Gabe was sixth at 285. Unfortunately for him, Coach Gotso felt like he could maybe finish in third place in his division. Unfortunately, he had to medically forfeit the final 2 rounds once he got there. Winds up finishing sixth. So he said he still met a goal, which was, he wanted to place there, and then he was able to do it, placing sixth. That was his main goal. For Live Oak, Gage Kelly winds up the state runner-up at 220 pounds in Division I. Billy Edmondson finished fifth at 182. And Connor Keel of Springfield finished fifth at 182 pounds. He's the lone wrestler on the Springfield wrestling team. He works out with the Walker team, but that's a heck of an accomplishment for him too. So,
congratulations to all those gentlemen on wrapping up their wrestling season. Even with a medical forfeiture, met a new goal. So, congratulations to them.
Yeah. The name on the Albany signee, John Dewey, just hit me. That's a old man moment there for football. So, sorry about that, John.
There you go. Well, thanks for
it hit me like ton of bricks, just like that. So,
okay.
My apologies.
I think you're okay. You got it in. So, if you'll introduce yourself, sir.
Thank y'all for listening. This is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys out there for joining us for the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. Once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month. Get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. One last time, we do appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.